Good day, Philippines. Hello, Region 1. Aloha, San Carlinian learners. Airing live from the mango bamboo capital of the Philippines, San Carlos City. You're tuning in to CCN Broadcast Center, a virtual home of every SDO-SEC learner, where passion is the key. Learning paves the way. With our division mantra, developing creativity, maximizing versatility. This is your CCN Broadcast Center. CCN Broadcast Center, a virtual home of every SDO-SEC learner.
Good day, everyone. I am Limuel Celino, a math teacher from Turak National High School. And today, I'm going to teach you a new lesson in math here at Carlos and Carlene Network. Last week, we studied simplifying radical expression. So I want you to simplify the following radical expression. Number 1, we have square root of 12. Number 2, square root of 18. And number 3, 2 over square root of 2. Okay, if you answer number 1 is 2 square root of 3, then you're correct. And in number 2, we have 3 square root of 2. And the last one will be square root of 2. So for this day, I'm going to discuss addition and subtraction of radical expressions. For our most essential learning competency, the learner performs operation on radical expressions. For our specific learning objectives, we have identify similar radical expression, add radical expression, and subtract radical expressions. Let's start with this activity. So we're going to, the title of the activity is You Complete Me. Directions, complete table 1. Write the radical expression with index of 2 and radicand of 7 in column 2. And write the radical expression with index of 3 and radicand of 5 in column 3. Here is table number 1. So I'll be giving you a few minutes to answer this activity. Okay, now let us see your answer. If your answer in column 2 are the following, then you're correct. And if your answer in the column 3 are this, then you're again correct. The radical expressions in column 2 are similar radical expressions. And the radical expressions in column 3 are also similar radical expressions. Now, I want you to answer this question. So, based from our activity, what are similar radicals? In order to answer this question, I want you to complete this sentence. Radicals are similar if they have the same blank and the same blank. So what are the missing words here? If your answers are indices and radicand, then you are correct. So remember, radicals are similar if they have the same indices and the same radicand. So these two must be satisfied. So remember, they must have the same indices and the same radicands. Are 5 square root of 5 and 8 cube root of 5 similar radicals? Why or why not? So what do you think is the answer in this question? Are they similar? You're correct. 5 square root of 7 and 8 cube root of 5 are not similar radicals. If we're going to observe, they don't have the same indices and the same radicands. How about 6 cube root of 5 and 6 square root of 5? Are they similar radicals? Why or why not? So based from the definition of similar radicals, in order that two radicals will be similar, they must have the same, as the first one, the same indices, and the second is the same radicands. In this case, we only have the same radicands, and the indices are the same, are not the same. So therefore, what kind of radicals are these? Correct, they are not similar radicals. To add and subtract radicals, transform first those which are not in simplest form. Then combine radicals which are similar and indicate as addition those radicals which are not similar. So let's have this example. So in other words, the first thing we need to do is to simplify first those radical expressions. And then after simplifying the radical expression, then we combine all the similar terms. So example number 1. Add 4 square root of 7 and square root of 7. So if we're going to observe again, the two given radical expressions are similar, so we can add them at once. So we have 4 square root of 7, I'm going to write that, it is 4 square root of 7 plus square root of 7. Remember, we're going to add or subtract radical expression, we only add or subtract their coefficients and copy the radicals. So in this case, we will add the coefficient of 4 square root of 7 and square root of 7. The coefficient of 4 square root of 7 is 4, and the square root of 7 is 1. So adding that, we have now 4 plus 1 is square root of 7. So the answer here will be 5 square root of 7. Let's have the next example. Simplify 4 square root of x minus 3 square root of x plus 9 square root of x. If we're going to observe again, all of them are similar radical expressions, so we will just perform the indicated operation. So we have now, we subtract 4 minus 3, so we get their difference, and that is 1, and then add it to 9, so we have now 4 minus 3 is 1 plus 9, so we have 10 square root of x. Next example. Find the sum of 11 square root of 10 and square root of 90. So in this case, if we're going to observe, the two radical expressions are not similar at this moment. But square root of 90 can be simplified. So we can simplify square root of 90. And what is the simplest form of square root of 90? So we have this. So if we're going to simplify, square root of 90 is just the same as the square root of 9 times the square root of 10. And putting out the square root of 9, that will give us 3. So the simplest form of square root of 90 is 3 square root of 10. So after simplifying, they became similar radical expressions. So we can now combine 11 plus 11 square root of 10 plus 3 square root of 10. That will give us 14 square root of 10. Example number 4. Subtract 7 square root of 20 from the sum of square root of 12 and 5 square root of 48. So in this problem, what will be the sobrahen? Is it 7 square root of 20 or the sum of square root of 12 and 5 square root of 48? If our answer is 7 square root of 20, then you are correct. So if we're going to write this will be square root of 12 plus 5 square root of 48 minus 7 square root of 20. So we simplify its radical expression. So square root of 12 will be square root of 4 times the square root of 3 plus 5, and the square root of 48 will be square root of 16 times 3, and the square root of 20 will be square root of 4 multiplied to the square root of 5. So putting out, we go back with the square root of 12. So putting out the square root of 4, that will be 2. And putting out the square root of 16, that will be 4. And putting out the square root of 4 to the last, we have the square root of 20, that will be 2. So we have now 2 square root of 3 plus 5 times 4 square root of 3 minus 7 times 2 square root of 5. So combining 2 square root of 3 plus 5 times 4 square root of 3, of course, 5 times 4, that will give us 20 square root of 3. Combining that to 2 square root of 3, that will give us 22 square root of 3 minus 14 square root of 5. So this will be our final answer in number 4, since we cannot combine anymore 22 square root of 3 and minus 14 square root of 5. So let's have the last example. Simplify square root of 3 minus 2 times the square root of 1/3. So let us write it first again. We have the square root of 3 minus 2 times the square root of 1/3. 2 times the square root of 1/3 can be written as 2 times the square root of 1 over the square root of 3. And what is the square root of 1? Of course, it's obviously 1. So this can be written again as square root of 3 minus 2 times the square root of 1 over square root of 3. And we're going to get the product of 2 and 1 over square root of 3 that will give us 2 over square root of 3. So in this case, we need to simplify 2 over square root of 3 by rationalizing the denominator. So we multiply this by square root of 3 over square root of 3. So we get the product of 2 square root of 3 and square root of 3 times square root of 3. That will be getting their product. So 2 times square root of 3, we have 2 square root of 3. Square root of 3 times square root of 3 is square root of 9. And what is the square root of 9? Yes, it is 3. So we have now square root of 3 minus 2 square root of 3 over 3. Now the question, are they now similar radical expressions? Yes, you're correct again. They became similar radical expressions. So we now combine their coefficients. So the coefficient of square root of 3 is 1, and the coefficient of 2 square root of 3 over 3 is 2/3. So we have 1 minus 2/3 square root of 3. Now we are subtracting a whole number and a fraction. So in this case, we need to make 1 also as a fraction, wherein the denominator will be 3. So what will be the fraction form of 1 such that the denominator will be 3? Correct. It is 3 over 3. And 3 over 3 minus 2/3, that will be 1/3 square root of 3. So the answer is 1/3 square root of 3 or square root of 3 over 3. So for the summary of our lesson, we have radicals are similar if they have the same indices and the same radicands. So remember, they must have the same indices and the same radicands. To add and subtract radicals, transform first since we are not in simplest form. So we need to simplify all the radical expressions. Then combine the radicals which are similar and indicate as addition those radicals which are not similar. Okay. Let's have another activity. The title of the activity is, What's the Message? So we're going to decode the message of this activity by performing operation on radicals. So let's start. So the first one, so let us decode. 4 square root of 3 plus square root of 3. So what will be the sum of 4 square root of 3 plus square root of 3? Correct. It is 5 square root of 3. So all 5 square root of 3 will become letter A. So we have A, and then next. 4 square root of 2 minus square root of 2. So what will be the difference? So they are again similar radicals. So we combine 4 square root of 2 minus square root of 2. So 4 minus 1 will be, correct, it is 3 square root of 2. So all of the 3 square root of 2 will be letter B. The next one, 5 square root of 5 plus 6 square root of 5 plus 7 square root of 5. This time we have 3 radical expression, but in this case, they're still similar. So we just combine them. So 5 square root of 5 plus 6 square root of 5, that is 11 square root of 5. And then plus 7 square root of 5, we have now 18 square root of 5. So we have, that will be letter C. The next one, 5 square root of 6 plus 6 square root of 6 minus 7 square root of 6. So we get the sum first of 5 square root of 6 and 6 square root of 6, and that will give us 11 square root of 6. You're correct. And then what will be the difference if we're going to subtract 7 square root of 6? Correct. It is 4 square root of 6. Next, 6 square root of 7 minus 2 square root of 7 plus 3 square root of 7. So we get the difference of the first two. 6 square root of 7 minus 2 square root of 7, that is, correct, it is 4 square root of 7. Add it to 3 square root of 7. So we have now 7 square root of 7. So letter E. So all 7 square root of 7 will be letter E. Next, 5 square root of 6 minus 5 square root of 3 plus 4 square root of 6. So you can combine the two similar radicals. What are the two similar radicals here? Yes, they are 5 square root of 6 and 4 square root of 6. So we combine them first. So that will give us 9 square root of 6, and then we just copy 5 square root of 3. It is 9 square root of 6 minus 5 square root of 3. So all of this will become letter I. So I. Yeah. Next, 7 square root of 2 minus 6 square root of 3 plus 9 square root of 3. So the last two radical expression, again, they are similar. So we can combine negative 6 square root of 3 plus 9 square root of 3. So we add that. That will give us 3 square root of 3. So we have the final answer will be 7 square root of 2 plus 3 square root of 3. Next, 7 square root of x plus 9 square root of x minus 7 square root of x. Again, the three radical expressions are similar, so we can just combine them at once. So 7 plus 9 is 16. And then 16 minus 7 is, what's the answer? Okay, so it is 9 square root of x. So we're down to the last 4. So last 4. So after that, we can now decode the message. So next, 6 square root of 2 plus square root of 8. So in this number, we need to simplify first square root of 8. So what will be the simplest form of the square root of 8? Yes, it is 2 square root of 2. So combining that to 6 square root of 2, we have now 8 square root of 2. Next, 7 square root of 12 minus square root of 27. So we simplify square root of 12 and square root of 27. What is the simplest form again of square root of 12? It is, correct, it is 2 square root of 3. And square root of 27 is 3 square root of 3. So the answer will be 7 square root of 12 will be 14 square root of 3 minus 3 square root of 3. That is 11 square root of 3. Last two. 5 square root of 20 plus 3 square root of 45 minus 2 square root of 80. So we simplify each radical expression. So 5 square root of 20 plus 3 square root of 45 minus 2 square root of 80. So we simplify the first one, the second, and the third. So we have, the answer will be 11 square root of 5. We're down to the last one. So the last one will be 10 over square root of 2 minus 5 is square root of 2. So we simplify verse 10 is over square root of 2. So we rationalize the denominator of 10 over square root of 2 by multiplying it by square root of 2 over square root of 2, and it will give us. So 10 over square root of 2 in simplest form is 5 square root of 2. So 5 square root of 2 minus 5 square root of 2. You are subtracting the same expression. So what will be the answer? Yes, of course, it is 0. So this is 0. So we have 0. So that will be y. So what is the message in the activity? So the message is we have accuracy builds credibility. You know what, my dear students? We need to give importance with our credibility. So, do not allow that our credibility will be destroyed. Let me say, if you're going to do something, you need to do it with accuracy. If someone will ask you to do something, you do it with accuracy and heartedly. So remember, accuracy builds credibility. Okay, so I think you are now ready for our assessment. So this time I want you to get a piece of paper and you may write the correct answer or you may comment in our chat box your answer. So the first question, when do you say that two radicals are alike or similar? Is it A, when their indices are the same? B, when their radicands are the same. C, when their integral exponents are the same. And the last one, letter D, when their indices and radicands are the same. Okay. The correct answer, number 1, is letter D, when their indices and radicands are the same. Let's have the second question. Which of the following set of radicals can be added or subtracted? A, square root of xy and 3 square root of 5x. B, 2 square root of 7x and 3 square root of 63x. C, 3m square root of n and m cube root of n. D, cube root of xy squared and 3 times the cube root of x squared y. So in this question, the correct answer is letter B. Let's have the third one. 3 of the radicals below can be expressed as similar radicals. Which of the following is not similar to the other given radicals? Is it letter A, square root of 144? Is it letter B, square root of 99? Letter C, square root of 110? And D, square root of 176? Okay, so the answer in this question is letter C. Let's have the fourth one. The combined form of 64 square root of 3 minus 4 times the square root of 48 minus 5 times the square root of 48 is blank. Is it A, 3 square root of 8, B, 28 square root of 3, C, 8 square root of 3, D, 3 square root of 48? So in this number, If your answer is letter B, then you're correct. Let's have the last one. What is the result after simplifying 2 square root of 3 plus 4 square root of 3 minus 5 square root of 3? Is it letter A, negative square root of 3, B, square root of 3, C, 11 square root of 3, and D, 21 square root of 3? So the answer is letter B. So I hope you get them all. For your assignment, I want you to solve the given problem. The side of a square tile is square root of 144 inches. Find its perimeter. So for more exercises, please answer your Module 8. Once again, I am Limuel Celino. Thank you for watching.
Good day, Philippines. Hello, Region 1. Aloha, San Carlinian learners. Airing live from the mango bamboo capital of the Philippines, San Carlos City. You're tuning in to CCN Broadcast Center, a virtual home of every SDO-SEC learner, where passion is the key. Learning paves the way. With our division mantra, developing creativity, maximizing versatility. This is your CCN Broadcast Center. CCN Broadcast Center, a virtual home of every SDO-SEC learner.